Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Todd Ronan, and I'm here joined with Dag Mo. We're in week 12 of 2022. If you don't think it's moving fast, it sure is. Well, I wanted to welcome you to my podcast that I'm going to start here with my friend. And what we're going to attempt to do in the next couple of weeks for you is provide you a glimpse of what's coming in the future so that you can make actionable decisions for yourself and for your family in your finances, in your life, in your well-being. And you can ask questions about things that you wouldn't normally ask other people. This is the spot to do it. I want to introduce myself. I'm Todd Ronan. I am a remote viewer. I'm a psychic. I'm not a channel, but I like to look at things that are unknown and look into the future to see what's coming. And I use a number of methods, remote viewing, discernment, and other techniques to make sure that I am giving you an actionable, clairvoyant perception of what's coming down the line. Now, I'm not 100% accurate. I would say I'm somewhere between 70 to 80% accurate. So use your own discernment and your judgment when listening to this podcast and taking action upon the steps that we're about to give you. I'd like to introduce my friend Dag Mo, who's joining us here from locations unknown. He can tell you a little bit about himself and what he'd like to do here in this ongoing podcast for you. Dr. Mo?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Well, this is my first go on a podcast in my entire life being introduced as such. So I do apologize for the break in speech and verbalized pauses, but I'll try my best. But I look forward to doing this with you, Ronan. And I wouldn't say I'm psychic. But I do have, I consider myself just an average guy that learned remote viewing and muscle testing along the way in my life. And, but yet when I was a kid, I was a little bit different than other kids. So I wouldn't call myself psychic, but I had some pretty wild experiences, and it seems like I have an ability to connect somehow. But hopefully what I can do and contribute will help us out, or help, people out that we come across. But I do look forward to looking to predict the future, and
That's
even have insights, the present and even the unknown past.
Yeah, we can look forward, we can look backwards. It's
things
just
that
the
we
same.
were taught. Yeah. What's that?
We can look forward or we can look backward. It's just the same if you know where your
Yeah.
perception point is. So we'd like to try and do this every week. We might skip a week if things are happening, but we're going to try to be a little bit more aggressive in forecasting things that you'll be able to take action upon, and we'll provide a running track record as to our hits and our failures, because we want to make sure that even though we made a failure, we went on a limb and we tried. We tried to give you the prediction, but sometimes we're just not as accurate as we want to be. But we're going to make sure that we highlight those failures just as much as we highlight those hits. And our goal is that our hits far exceed our failures, because otherwise, what the hell's the point?
Well, at least this is a learning in progress. So if anything, we'll learn from our mistakes and get better. So That's why I look at everything in life.
So one of the things we've looked at in the past are, we wanted to provide a fiscally responsible plan for people to take so that they can live a comfortable life without working, right? That's what we all want. We just want the opportunity to live and be free and be happy. And so our goal in this podcast is to provide you with that forecast for those action steps that each of you can take with not much money to make sure that you're providing for your family in the future. These might be side hustles, these might be stock tips, these might be cryptocurrencies, which now are kind of going sideways and up and down, and nobody knows which way they're going to go. But we're going to provide things that are not as esoteric, but just things that we hope that you can act upon. So you follow the crypto market quite a bit there, Dr. Mo. What do you see in regards to where it's going in the next, let's say, week to 2 weeks, because we're nearing the end of March and coming upon the new Easter celebration? Is it too generic of a question?
From my insight, no, that's good enough. I think it's good to keep it kind of generic now, but I don't see it doing too well. If anything, it might continue this sideways, but I don't see it going up very well. You might have an occasional pump, but overall, from my work I've done in the past, I see it kind of going down further. Not too. I hope I'm wrong. So if that's a miss, great. But because I'm more of a long holder of things as of now, so I hope I'm wrong on that prediction. But I don't see the crypto market doing too well in April.
Yeah, I'm also a holder long. I don't really do much day trading, stock exchange. I don't have screens in front of me looking at different things that are going up and down, but I know that some of you are, and that's great. So if you want to contribute and ask us questions, we encourage you to let us know what we should turn our attention to. What stock, what ETF, or what coin or cryptocurrency or NFT you'd like us to look at, to let you know what that performance will be over the next month, 2 months, 3 months, or weeks. It's hard to do daily indexes because we're on kind of a long count here. The people that are seeing this can pick action steps to do something like for the next week, and we'll hopefully have more data for you next week. But we did look at one target in remote viewing, you and I, to determine what is the most significant thing that I can invest in to get the optimum return on my investment between, so let me rephrase it, what top 25 market cap coin could you invest in to get the largest return on your investment from March 15th to April 15th? And you did that target as a blind remote viewing target. Do you want to share what it is that you think you came up with?
Well, part of the tap remote viewing that you teach in a course that I partook with. Sorry, my English is a little bit off right now, but basically, I did the sketch. It's a quick sketch at the beginning of the session, and it seemed like of the top 50 or even the top 100 icons or pictures that represents each cryptocurrency, it most resembled Tether. Tether is tied, which most people involved in cryptocurrencies know that's tied to the USD, the United States dollar. Well, during that session, well, just the fact that you said which is going to be the best, what was the cue? The most is going to highest.
The best return on your investment, I think. I'll pull up the queue.
Okay, the best ROI basically.
As a crawl.
That, for Tether to show up as the answer is not good, because if Tether doesn't move, if anything, it goes a little bit below $1, a little bit above. Well, that means if that's the highest, it means everything else is going to plummet or go down. It'd be red. And then during the session, I'm trying to recall, during the session, further into it, I drew in a lot of data points. I don't know if that's a proper language, but a lot of information coming in, and it gave the impression that I had information of funeral, urn, coffin, death, mourning, stuff like that, and that's not good. That's usually, and especially in our dreams, not good. But it was coming in as a representation that things will not do well, in my opinion, my interpretation. So you can, take everything, all this information like a grain of salt, but if I were to, make a bet, I would go against the currency and pull out, cash out. It's telling me to cash out with Tether, or get real American money. Don't touch crypto.
Yeah, and here's another sketch. People want to take a look at this and give their own impression of what coin they think that is. But this is just a simple, I teach a method of remote viewing. It's an accelerated remote viewing called Temporal Awareness Perception Programming, and our temporal awareness perception process. And it gives you kind of a quicker input into what it is that we're looking at. So here are some other directions that the sketch is provided, and just a quick look at what it is. But the feeling of a burial and a coffin and a funeral made me think that this was kind of a death march into what we're looking at in the crypto space between now and April 15th, which is super unfortunate. So, you know, if you are betting on this money to help you get to a more joyous Easter for your children, it may be an opportunity for you to put a hold on any sales that you have, or even cash out until you see a lower point, because don't ever sell low. This is the only crypto advice that I can give you, but I have to stress that I am not a crypto finance investor. I am not a financial advisor, and I don't have any licenses in telling you what to do. But if you buy low and you sell high, I know that makes you money. But some people do it the other way and still make money. So as long as you know what you're doing, make sure that you prepare yourself for a little bit of a dip in what we're seeing coming up in the future, because that's what our forecasts are showing for the short term in crypto. And we haven't looked past April 15th just because we've all been busy doing our taxes, and we've been looking at a lot of other projects that you'll see coming out week to week. But we just wanted to give you that little short information about one of the things that we've looked at most recently that we think we can identify as a tether coin, which, thanks for doing that session too. It looked like nothing that looks good. So we also follow a lot of other Twitter forecasts and other people's forecasts who say that things are coming up roses, but they tend to sugarcoat what they think is coming and not really put a bookend timestamp on it. So what we're going to do in the future is give you like bookends to make your action steps so that you can either take the plunge or take your money out or put it in your mattress, whatever you want to do, just to keep you guys safe. We haven't looked at any other good investments right now, but we'll look at that, I guess, coming up. Is there anything else you wanted to cover today, Dr. Mo, for our first foray into the world of podcasting the future?
Well, I like the fact that we're having starting and endpoints in predictions. You don't see that often, rarely, if that. So this way, you know, our viewers and maybe potential members will know when to take action instead of okay, it's a guessing game still. So at least we have we have those dates. And that's I think that's great. But other than that, it's like I said, this is going to be a learning in progress. Of course, I'm going to improve on my speech and presentation, but I look forward to this.
Well, yeah, just some of the methods that we'll be using too are our own discernment, which we're going to help people level up, and we're going to use remote viewing, and we're going to use the old-fashioned remote viewing of associative remote viewing using binary photos, and we're going to use muscle testing, which is an old method of kind of dowsing the answer, and we're going to have other people help us with that muscle testing, and we'll have some things that are coming out that'll help you join us in that muscle testing too, coming down the pike. And we also use a couple other methods that we're not going to talk about right now, but we don't just use one method to try and accurately forecast this. We did with Tether, but because it was sort of a quick jump about things, we wanted to make sure that we were giving you something you could act upon in this first bit of information. We also looked at Shiba Inu. We looked at Tesla stock. We looked at the current gold spot price. And what I try and do is I try and provide a range of what they will be, like whether it's a 10% rise or a 10% drop. And that's over a specific time period. So we'll see, is it going to hit these price points so you can take an action step upon it, and then you could sell out when you get to that 10%. You'll know that it might spike over 10% if we tell you it's going to spike at least 10%, but we're not going to look any higher than that. The biggest ranges that we look for are 10 to 15% swings in stocks that have high volatility. We don't look at many silly coins, but we could in the future. The problem with silly coins is that it's hard to take action upon those unless you have a specific wallet on a specific exchange. So not everybody can take advantage of it. But if you have those requests, feel free. Yeah.
I have to attest with that. It's very messy as well. It's not like a clean exchange, even though there's benefits to being a DeFi, and a lot of these little tiny coins are part of the DeFi, and yet to be part of centralized exchanges. It's very messy, especially with taxes. And I'm going through that right now. So I would advise, especially in America or in England, they're very strict on taxes versus other countries like Australia, a little bit more relaxed with crypto. But just do your due diligence and have a good accountant or crypto lawyer if you're going to deal with the DeFi, especially.
That's good advice, because you don't want to be audited.
That's my advice.
Auditing is.
They don't tell you about this stuff, even IRS ahead of the time. It's just too late. It's like, hey, by the way. So.
Well, then maybe Larry David was right. I'm not sure it's such a good idea for the FTX commercial that he was on. It's never going to catch on. There was one other thing that I wanted to add that we did look at in regards to, no, we're not going to talk about that this time. But just the other methods that we look at, the remote viewing, the perception, the kinesiology, and we'll have other methods that we share with you shortly. But oh yeah, that's what I wanted to mention, how to get in touch with me. So my name is Todd Ronan, and you can write to me at remote view it. That's remote view it, all one word, at gmail.com for now. You can find us on YouTube. You can find me on Patreon under Reality Forecast. And soon the podcast will be available worldwide. But right now it's only in select spots. Thank you for finding it. We appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to sharing more information that we see in the future with you in the weeks to come. Final thoughts, Dr. Mo?
Ditto. Until then.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.